Do you get shoulder pain or clicking while you're at the gym? Well, stay tuned for this video and we'll go over exactly why it might be happening. One of the most common causes for shoulder pain or clicking that happens while you're doing stuff like shoulder press, bench press, push-ups, dips is due to a tight triceps muscle, or actually be more specific, it's due to a tight triceps muscle leading to a very clicky tendon. The proximal tendon to be more precise. This type of clicking is usually felt at the back of the shoulder and it may or may not be painful. At the very least, this type of clicking is just really annoying. But you might notice a few things. If you notice that the shoulder clicking slowly gets better as your body gets warmed up, which means as you go deeper into your workout, the clicking happens a little bit less. Or if you notice the clicking happening the most when you wake up in the morning and it's very stiff and it's very tender, or you notice that the shoulder clicking decreases when you do a very basic stretch for the arm and shoulder, then this video is really for you. So as I mentioned earlier today, one of the most common causes is due to a really tight triceps, but why is this ultimately happening? After all, your other arm probably doesn't click, but you're still doing all your exercises with both of your arms, which usually means that it's not due to just you lifting or overtraining. It could actually be due to you not having the most optimized form. So when it comes to resolving your shoulder pain and your shoulder clicking, there are a few things that you need to consider. One, maybe seek out a professional to get your form assessed. You can see a personal trainer, you can see a physiotherapist, a sports chiropractor. Any of these professionals can take a look at your form and help you correct your movement. Specifically speaking, when you have too much internal or external rotation or not enough shoulder stability while you're doing these movements that you experience at the gym, your triceps can then compensate for the lack of movement or the unstable movement that might be happening at your shoulder joint. Another strategy you might be able to do if you don't have access to seeing these aforementioned professionals is actually recording yourself while you're lifting. This is a great way to see if both sides look symmetrical while you're doing your lifts, and you can use the good side to kind of create a template for the side that is bothering you. While complete symmetry might not be necessary while you're doing your lifts, it can be one way to guide your shoulder back to recovery if you just minimize the amount of compensational movements that might be going on. All right, so let's say you did get assessed and your form is now being corrected and your shoulder is still clicking. Well, time to loosen up that triceps muscle. There are a few things that you want to consider when it comes to loosening up the tricep muscles. Some strategies that you could do include self-massage, and we'll be going over 2 different variations of that today. You can also work on strengthening the triceps muscle in the deep end ranges. What this will do is increase the muscle's capacity to activate in a very stretched position, ultimately giving it a little bit more flexibility. 3, you want to stretch the muscle daily just so that you have the flexibility and range of motion to complete all the lifts that you need to do in the gym. All right, so let's get started with our first set of exercises, which include the self-massages. All right, before we get into our first set of exercises, it's really important to understand that this video does not replace an assessment with a healthcare professional. If you're dealing with pain and you experience more pain when doing certain exercises, it's highly recommended to get assessed because some movements can make your condition feel worse if the diagnosis is not what you expect. If you happen to be in the Toronto or Markham region, Rehab Hero does have 2 clinics that you could book in with. You can find the link in the caption below. All right, let's get started with our first set of exercises, which is a massage that you can do for your triceps. The first thing you need is going to be a massage ball. If you don't have a massage ball, you can also use a lacrosse ball or a golf ball or tennis ball. Just please realize they will have different densities, so the amount of pressure you put on your triceps will vary. All right, so once you have your ball, the first thing you're going to do is grab an incline bench. You're going to set it up so that you could just comfortably lean your whole entire arm on that incline bench. Next, you're going to take that ball and you're going to place it somewhere along your tricep on a tender spot. Now, you have to realize that your tricep or your arm in general is a cylinder. So you might have to play with the rotational angle of your tricep to find that tender spot. It could be straight on like this, or you might have to rotate your arm inwards or outwards just so you can find the right area. From there, you're going to put enough pressure so that it feels about a 5 or 6 out of 10 intensity. You really don't want to go above that because the goal of this exercise isn't to beat the muscle up. Instead, we're just trying to get it to relax by massaging it out. From there, you're going to just do these light elbow bends. You're going to go back and forth. You're going to extend that elbow all the way, and then you're going to flex it all the way up, just completing the full range of motion. You might notice that the pain changes depending on the angle that you're moving, which is okay because you're going to feel that muscle kind of floss underneath that pressure. You're going to do anywhere between 4 to 6 repetitions, and you should notice that slowly over time, if you don't increase the pressure, that each repetition feels a little bit easier for you to do. Now, once you've done about 4 to 6 repetitions, you can find up to 4 to 6 different spots along that triceps muscle belly. You could target more of the long head or more of the lateral head of the triceps. You could go anywhere along that muscle belly. When it comes to completing this movement, you're going to take it easy. I don't want you to whip through the movement as fast as you can. You're going to go at about a 2 to 4 second tempo to complete the movement. It really just depends on how sensitive your tricep is to this massage. Now, if you don't have a massage ball or a lacrosse ball or any other ball, I'll give you a second option that you can do using a barbell that you can find already at your gym. So now that we have a barbell, all you gotta do is set yourself up so that you're kind of leaning behind it. Make sure it's super stable and won't slip forwards or in front of you. Next, you're just going to kind of place your tricep on it and then put your body weight onto it so that you put a little bit of pressure. And again, you only want to put about 5 or 6 out of 10 pressure onto that triceps muscle because the goal isn't to bruise it. From here, you're going to do the exact same movement we did on the bench where you're just going to slowly extend and flex that tricep in its full range of motion. And once again, if you need to, you can play with different internal or external rotation angles just so you can hit the right area for you. All right, next we're going to go into our end range strengthening exercises. So the next exercise will require the use of a monster band. This is a light monster band rated at 15 to 25 pounds, but you can use any band realistically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first step on one end of this band while gripping on the other. This is just going to add some tension to my band. From here, I'm going to place my arm behind my back just so that my hand is just kind of placed at the base of my neck, right here. From this position, I am going to extend my hand completely upwards as to straighten out my elbow. This is going to activate my triceps and get it to start working. And I'm going to come back down. Now at this bottom position, I'm allowing the band to pull my arm into as much elbow flexion as possible. And what you should notice is in this position, you're actually getting a nice light tricep stretch right throughout the muscle belly. So from here, once again, I'm going to activate my triceps muscle and extend it as much as possible. So what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to strengthen this muscle through its entire range of motion so that it learns how to become a little bit more flexible, more comfortable in these end ranges that you might be putting yourself into. As you might have noticed that this deep elbow bend is needed in different movements when it comes to pressing motions. So you need to do this while you're doing your bench presses. You gotta do it to some extent in your shoulder presses and all those other different types of movements. So when should you do this strengthening exercise? Now there's 2 different ways that you can approach this exercise. One is you can do one single set of about 15 to 20 repetitions that are non-fatiguing right before you do your push day. What this will do is warm up your triceps muscle and more importantly, the triceps tendon so that it has a lot more pliability when you're doing your lifts. Now, what I actually prefer my patients do is to do it the second approach, which is to do this exercise 3 times a week and doing 3 sets each time you do it. And you'll be doing this to fatigue, which means you're hitting failure to some extent. You might need a heavier band when you're doing this exercise, and you're going to be doing this so that you can establish a better baseline mobility in your triceps muscle and more importantly, the triceps tendon. So the second approach is, in my opinion, a little bit more preferable because what it does is helps to establish a better baseline in terms of triceps mobility. What it means is by doing this exercise a little bit more consistently and making it a little bit more challenging, it'll cause your triceps to adapt so that your triceps is ready to go anytime without relying on a warm-up routine before you do your lifts. So what this kind of looks like is doing this exercise 2 to 3 times a week, doing 3 sets until fatigue. And that might mean you have to use a heavier band in order to reach that same level of fatigue. Of course, doing some sort of combination of both is also a good idea as well, where you could do a single set that's non-fatiguing right before you do your lifts, and then you could finish up with another 2 sets at the end of your workout so that you kind of get the best of both worlds. All right, so we're going to finish off with some very basic but important flexibility exercises that you can do for your triceps that needs to be done daily in order for you to reap the benefits from. All right, so this next exercise is very basic. You might have been shown this by a friend, family member, or even your gym teacher. It's a very basic tricep stretch. All you're going to do is get into the same position we did with the band where you're placing this hand on the back of the base of your neck. From here, you're going to take your other arm, you're going to grab onto your elbow, and you're going to pull it deeper so that your hand starts gliding down your back. And what this will do is you'll start to feel a stretch within this triceps muscle. And you'll hold this for about 30 seconds and you'll do about 2 to 3 sets per day. Now, it's really important that you do this exercise daily because the research shows that if you don't stretch daily, you will not get any flexibility improvements. At least your baseline flexibility won't improve. Now, if you don't really feel this stretch happening in your triceps, there's a way that you could do this leaning against a wall so that you can leverage your body weight to deepen the stretch. Let's check that out. Basically, you want to just find a wall with some open space in front of it, just so that you're not going to be tripping over anything. From there, you're going to place your elbow right up against that wall. You can get that hand, place it behind the back of your neck, similar to how we did it before. And you're just going to kind of leverage your body weight by leaning to the side so that this wall is pushing your elbow further upwards. And you hold this same exact exercise for about 30 seconds, and you'll rest for 30 seconds and do about 2 to 3 repetitions in total. All right, so we did 3 different types of exercises for your triceps in order to improve its mobility while you're doing your lifts. We did self-massage exercises, we did a mobility exercise or end-range strengthening exercise, and we did a flexibility exercise. Between these 3 different types of exercises, you should notice that your triceps does feel looser when you're doing your heavy lifts. Now, if you notice that the shoulder clicking still persists despite doing all 3 types of exercises, it's really important that you consult your local physiotherapist or chiropractor about what might be going on. It might not be a simple triceps issue as I outlined here today. If you happen to be in Markham or in the Toronto region, you could book in with us at our Rehab Hero Clinic by clicking the link that's going to be found in the caption below. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and I'll see you all next time. Peace.